your cup. All right. With no further ado, I am going to introduce one of my good friends and also someone I look up to so much. This person I met out on the speaking circuit. I actually interviewed her for a show that we did on Mortgage News Network called The Most Powerful Women in Banking. And we had a whole season and episodes, and Laura was one of the 13 highest ranking women in the banking industry. She is such a powerful motivator, runs a huge organization. Let me read her official bio because I don't want to miss a thing about Laura. Laura Brandao launched its wholesale channel and now serves American Financial Resources as president and the only female partner. Laura is the chair of NAMBA's Visionary Program and founder of the Women's Mortgage Network for AIM. She has grown AFR as a leading specialty lender, rolling out new products based on market demand, and is its coveted speaker and well-regarded champion for the industry. Her recent honors include the 10 most influential businesswomen to follow, 20 most successful businesswomen to watch by Insight Success, a Women with Vision winner 2 years, top 100 people in finance, and New Jersey Business's best 50 women in business. So, Laura, we are so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Christine. I just want to also make sure you can see the PowerPoint, right?
Sure can.
Okay, just always like to know the technical stuff is fine.
Yep.
All right, so before we get started, I would like to thank Christine and 2020 Vision Your Success Coaching for giving me this opportunity to speak with all of you today. And first and foremost, I actually want to thank all of you. Yes, thank you all for saying yes, because you all had a decision to make during a very busy time, during this crazy volume that we're doing. You had to figure out a time and a way to be able to get out of your routine by investing in yourself and learning what you need to do in order to reach your goals for 2021. Now, since 2019, I also made the decision that every single day I would say yes. And what I say yes to is doing something different, doing something that actually scares me a little bit, even including this. Now, Christine mentioned that, yes, I get up and I speak up. You'll find me all over social media, but that doesn't mean that every single time that I decide to do this, I don't have fear or worry of what's going to happen during that time. So I believe that by getting out of your comfort zone and actually scaring yourself into doing something unique, you are actually creating a momentum of change, leading you into higher and higher goals that you are going to reach. Okay? So I found a quote from someone that I actually believe it hits the nail right on the head. Every single blade of grass and every flake of snow is just a wee bit different. There's no two alike, you know. From something small like grains of sand to each gigantic star, we are all made with this in mind, to be what they are. How foolish then to imitate, how useless to pretend, since each of us comes with a mind whose ideas never end. There'll only be just one of me to show what I can do, and should likewise feel very proud, there's only one of you. That is where it all starts. Wonderful, unlimited human beings of you. So picture this. You feel like, what happens if the day that you decide that every single thing you touch turns to gold? After me, I know Mike Cordes is about to come online and speak about how he grew Nexa. Now, I can remember Mike being on a panel discussion with me, maybe, 18 months ago or so. And Mike threw out a goal. He said to me, Laura, I am going to have this many loan officers before this date. And I remember that as he pronounced that, and he said to me, I'm going to do this, I knew that was going to happen. So where does that all come from? Where do we all start? It starts with the power of execution. And what I'm going to go over today is that power of execution is actually 10 components to how to have a successful execution plan. And I will say that, Nike nailed it, right? They nailed it that they said, just do it. We establish a vision, we create a plan, we work the plan, and we execute, right? That was it. We execute it. But if only it was that easy, wouldn't everybody hit that dream or hit that goal? So, what are the steps that people are actually missing? Well, let's dive into what those steps are. The first step is actually being flexible. It's easy to have these ideas. The hard part is turning those ideas into a successful executable plan. It takes persistence, relentlessness, and a combination of stubbornness and flexibility. You actually need to know when to use which of them. Okay? At times, you need to be focused, but at other times, you need to realize it's not all going to happen exactly as you designed within your plan. So, the favorite quote of mine on this topic is be stubborn about your goals and flexible about your methods. Now, we've seen it a million times, especially within our industry. You have people that have all these ideas, and all of a sudden they're ready to go. They implement, and then something doesn't work out the way they expected. And then they're like, scratch that. That idea was terrible. I'm no longer going to focus on that. Now, instead of me being and I'll just use my company as an example, instead of me being a renovation and construction specialist, well, that didn't work. Well, you know what? Now I'm going to cut my rates and I'm going to become the cheapest out there. Well, that could be the plan, but that plan should be after you actually have modified what your original thought was. It should be okay if you've analyzed and you thought my best way for growth is to add loan officers. Well, maybe adding loan officer is a great plan, or maybe there's another way to truly accomplish what you're looking to do. Don't think about it just in terms of the minute something goes wrong, you adjust. You have to be flexible be stubborn about the goal. Once you put that plan out there, then, as things adjust and as circumstances arise, you are going to be flexible in the next thing that's going to happen. Now, keep an open mind and analyze as you go along. Now, the next thing that you see within the component is being gritty. I love this word. This is such a great word because we all know highly successful individuals all have this common hunger for practice, and they're willing to sacrifice and suffer for their vision. Gritty people see action through to completion without excuses. It's 100% being accountable for what your goal is. It's not okay that, listen, we all know, no one thought that when the pandemic hit, we all said, all right, what are we going to do? Now, it turned out to our favor, but we didn't know that was going to happen. We dug in, we listened to the experts, we took a leadership position because the minute that if things get rough, you hide, that's not a leadership position. That's not going after and executing your initial plan. We all know things don't work out exactly initially, but we have to remain true to that. So how do we remain gritty? Well, first off, we have to have specific goals and milestone dates. They have to have a plan of, we put that big dream out there, but there's going to be little things that we need to accomplish in order to hit that. Sometimes having these monumental goals, if we just throw that out there, we're not actually going through the steps to get there. And it looks so overwhelming that a lot of times it's easy to give up. We actually say, all right, I know I put it out there and I know my goal was to be the number one, whatever. I know that my goal was to grow my company to X. I know that I want to become a powerhouse on social media. Well, that's great, but put those little milestones leading your way up to there, because anyone can say, I want to be this. But sometimes if we're only focused on the end, we miss all the steps. in the middle. Then follow your passion. You don't have to love every part of the business. I'll give myself again as the example. I absolutely can't stand the compliance part of it. That's not my specialty. I'd rather be in the thick of things. I'd rather be in the production side. I'd rather be putting the pieces of the puzzle together and bringing those families home. But we all know when you run a company in our business, we know we have to have the compliance factors. We have to have the training components. All of that is vital to our businesses. So that's where we recognize that may not be our forte. Get people surrounding us on that team. Get the people that their passion is doing that. Their passion is training. Their passion is compliance. Their passion is holding us accountable and handling our books and our finances for us. That might not be our forte. That might not be what lights us up. But recognize what we're passionate about and then get people that are passionate about those other components to combine with us. Now, the other part of being gritty is know your purpose. Gritty people understand their why. It's never a job. It's never a task. There's always a higher mission and a purpose. We all know our industry is a blessing to all of us. It's a great time right now. There's many years has been phenomenal. But if we come into our industry with just one goal, it's going to get old because we all know our industry is cycles. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're not. When we believe in our purpose and we're here for the long haul of helping families, for building generational wealth, for making a difference for all of our clients that we work with, that purpose will make it so we're gritty during the times that we're trying to reach those goals. And then finally, pay attention to your self-talk. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Whichever you think, that's what's going to happen. A lot of us, these things depend on our mindset. And I saw an interesting statistic. Olympic athletes actually have 500 to 1,000 words that they're saying to themselves to keep themselves in the right frame of mind. If you go to anyone that is a professional athlete, they know that whether they have a good game or they have a good round, it's going to partially depend on the mindset that they go into the game. Okay, so that is going to be... Somebody's got that. Somebody's got... Someone's speaking.
Laura, unmute yourself. I hit the mute all button. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, no worries. Thanks, Christine. Thanks for your help. Okay, so then the next thing, curiosity. So we have our vision, we have our strategy. Here's something that I find that a lot of us, especially over time, we lose a little bit of our curiosity. And curiosity, the thing about asking questions and being curious, a couple of factors. Number one, the more you're curious and you are actually engaged, the people that you work with or your surrounding, it actually lowers your anxiety, believe it or not. Because by having that curiosity and truly listening and being engaged, it actually keeps us controlled, okay? And this is my most favorite story about curiosity. We all know Ray Kroc, okay? The guy from McDonald's, all right? For anyone that doesn't know the story, this man's job at 50 years old was selling milkshake machines, okay? So every day orders would come in or he would take his milkshake machine to different restaurants and he would actually try to sell milkshake machines. Well, one day, a company, a restaurant in California called up and said, I would like to order 8 milkshake machines. Okay, so Ray Kroc is 50 years old. He's making a decent living, doing his same routine over and over again. He doesn't really need to change anything. He's living a good life. And he thought, 8 milkshake machines. Why in the world would anyone have a need for this? So he said to the gentleman, you know what? I would like to fly to California Now, remember, this is in the 50s. It was a big deal to get on an airplane and fly across the country. He was on the East Coast. And he said, I want to get on an airplane. I want to fly to California, and I want to understand, why do you need 8 milkshake machines? Now, we all know the story. They actually set up the first fast food assembly line. But if Ray Kroc just continued on his life doing the same business as he always did, he really had no reason to question it. The whole McDonald's franchise and being a real estate investor and mogul and everything he built would have never happened. We all have the ability to ask those questions and stay curious within our own businesses in order for us to continue to progress and reach the goals that we are looking for. So I always ask everyone, continue those conversations, continue to be curious, because the minute we become complacent and we just keep doing the same old thing, that's when it gets stale. That's when all of a sudden you're not lit up and you don't have the passion and you don't understand the purpose, because it becomes a routine. So I always ask, curiosity is one of my favorites. Okay, so the next one, all right, we have our strategy, we have our vision, we're asking our questions. And now you also realize you have to be flexible, okay? And we all know, if 2020 has taught us anything, we've also learned we need to have resilience, okay? Well, the first thing to keep in mind is that failure is merely a stepping stone. Everyone goes through failures to learn lessons in order to continue to go on. But see, resilient people, they think of themselves as the CEO of their lives. They know that they control every single decision as to moving forward to the life that they're looking to achieve. So at the heart of resilience lies a simple truth, because change is inevitable. We have certainly all learned that this year. The reality is when we live in a world of a constant change, when we get into trouble is when we push back on it. When we say, I have to control everything. I'm not willing to roll with the punches and be able to just adapt and move forward. This year, we were challenged with that. And I know that we all have done very, very well. So the question is that how resilient are we when it's not necessarily as easy to have those refis out there? We certainly have to be prepared for making sure we're keeping those relationships strong and being resilient for if something else changes, okay? So during this time of resilience, we actually go through a cycle, okay? Our first cycle is our comfort zone. This is our, I'm on autopilot. I don't even have to think about it. I know exactly what to do from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. I've got it. I've done it for years. Well, that's safe. And that's your comfort zone. But you're never going to move forward in that particular situation. So then once you get out of that comfort zone, I mentioned it. Every day I decide to do something that scares me. Something that I'm not an expert on, something that I've never done it before, and it's going to challenge me, and I have no idea what the outcome's going to be. Sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. Either way, the way I look at it is I actually always win, because when you get out of your comfort zone and you do something that scares you, well, guess what? You just built up resilience. And once you get past that, you start learning, you start problem solving, you're curious, you're learning new skills, you're actually getting into a new mode that now that goal that you actually set, maybe it's not big enough. I'm sure Mike Cordes will share this after me. I bet his goal is different than what he told me 18 months ago, because he's already pushed past the fear. He's already learned lessons. So now, what's that goal look like for 21, for 25, for 2030? Now, what does it look like? That's the challenge. And then when we get past to that phase, we go into actual growth. Growth is, like I said, expanding. That dream that we had, it's going to seem small. All of a sudden, you're going to say, wow, I I thought I only wanted this. Well, I'm going to blow past it. How many conversations Christine and I have had where it's, yeah, Christine and I had these conversations early in the pandemic where she spoke about the magazine. Her plan wasn't to launch the magazine at the time she did, but something changed. She adapted. A pandemic hit. We're all working from home. There's no more travel. There's no more speaking events at conferences. You adapt, you change, you speed up your goals, and you move forward. That's what you do in order to continue to push to those dreams. All right, so we've gotten past all of that. Now, the other thing is all of this is while you're actually living yourself as being the best you. You're not worrying about pleasing other people because that goal, it doesn't involve other people's opinions. Whatever you set forth as your goal for your company or yourself, you're doing that because that's what you're looking to do. You're not asking permission from other people that may disagree with you because it's not their goal. What you want for yourself, for your family, for your business, that's your personal goal. Don't let other people's opinions and don't worry about pleasing everyone out there because they have their own dreams. They have their own goals. And what their life of perfection looks like to them, that's theirs. And yours is yours. So it's very important that you actually get okay with the fact that your dream is your dream. And other people's opinion, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes your family might say, why in the world are you doing that? Why do we need to do that? Aren't we happy just selling a couple of milkshake machines? Why do we need to go and build McDonald's? Well, actually, I'm really happy that Ray Kroc did what he did. Look what it paved the way for all the entire franchise business. He changed the world he created and changed the world of franchising because he asked a question about buying 8 milkshake machines. Other people would say, why did you do that, Ray? You're 50 years old. You have a good life. Why do you want to build that? Well, some people may be saying that about some of the goals and dreams that you have. Don't ever let someone else change your goals or your dreams because they belong to you. The other thing is being vulnerable in this section, truly challenging yourself to actually expose yourself and being true to yourself. Again, we can't people please. We have to believe in our dreams and we have to follow through with them. And that's where it gets hard. Now, the other piece of this is focus. All right. I've got some interesting information on this one because I actually did a little research and I thought this was fascinating because I'm sorry, in 2020, 2021, we all have a problem with focus, especially since we're all working virtually and we have so many distractions coming at us, okay? Our brains are 100% a machine, right? And we know, and I think we all can admit, that when we get that text message, that email, that social media pop-up, our brains are wired to look at it almost like, we're getting a jolt of electricity. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, look, that person just sent me a text, or I just got that email, or that social person, somebody commented or liked one of my social media posts. We all have our brains working that way. But that actually makes it so that we cannot necessarily focus on the things that we need to. So here's a few tips about this. Number one, do your creative work first. Typically, what we do is we do our mindless work first and we build up to our toughest tasks. That actually drains your energy and lowers your focus. So an hour into doing your work, you've got a lot less capacity than in the beginning of it. Remember, every decision that you make is using and tiring your brain. So in order to focus effectively, reverse the order. Check off the tasks that require creativity or concentration first in the morning, and then move to the things that are a little bit easier, okay? Scheduling maybe some meetings later or, checking off things to do. So start with the harder stuff because your brain is ready and it's alive when we first wake up in the morning. So start with that. Also, here's the research part that is going to blow your mind. Research has actually shown that we only truly focus an average of 6 hours a week, not a day, a week. So how do we actually want to use those 6 hours? Now, it's also proven that 90% of people concentrate better outside the office. Now, I'm the first one to say some of my best ideas, strategy, and planning has happened on airplanes. I actually look forward to going on long trips because I know there's no distraction. I know I'm not going anywhere. I know I've got nothing else to do. So if I'm going to do a real dive in, let me think, let me jump into this, some of my best strategies came on an airplane. So think about where that moment is for you, whether it's, sitting outside by a tree, whether it's at the beach, or wherever it is for you. Think of where that best concentration is for when you're looking for this. Okay. And then the other thing is to train your brain like a muscle. When multitasking is the norm, your brain quickly adapts. You lose the ability to focus, and distraction, it became a habit. We've trained our brain to look for those pop-ups, to look for those text messages and the social media alerts and the emails. So what we actually have to do is build up our muscle to allow it to learn to focus. Start small, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then go to a larger chunk of time so that it's not just 6 hours of focus. Okay. Now, the other thing, as we're trying to, become, hit our goals, the other piece of the puzzle is building a tribe. Now, again, I'll speak about 2020. 2020 has taught me the value and the importance of having a tribe. We were all remote. We're all working virtually. We couldn't jump on a plane and meet clients or attend conferences where you get that recharge of bonding and personal connection. But in the year 2020 and 2021, we now have the power of bonding in other ways like this: connection, getting to know people on a personal level, and the value of being part of a tribe and a unity like what Christine has built. Being part of that is extremely valuable and vital to reaching all of our goals. Now, we are in a social mode right now, and it's very interesting. I have a little chart here. So again, as you can tell, I love research. I love TED Talks. I am a forever learner. Every single day I try to learn something new, and I try to do something that scares me. So I did some research on the different ages and how we have adapted as humans. So the agricultural age, back in the days when we were all farmers, do you know what success was in the agricultural age? What happened is when we had our farms, generations back, one family would grow potatoes. Another family would have livestock. Another family would have corn. And together, we would actually join in order to be able to come together and work together as social animals. That was success. In the industrial age, we moved into factories. And when we got to the factory level, all of a sudden, the bosses became almost dictators. They started inciting, do things this way. This is how you have to do it. And then we went to the social age, which is what we're in now. And we've realized that we're back to the family, everybody working together, everybody being united. So what we've learned is that we deserve and have to be part of a tribe, just like the agricultural age, where we bartered and we traded, and we had services that we worked together to say, hey, you're the best at this. I'm going to use for this. And the other person is the best at something else. And we worked together as a group. And then We know the benefits of working as a team. And then after that, we've learned that small, consistent action is how we have to work towards our goals. Seth Godin says, I love this quote, the thing about incremental daily progress, negative or positive, is that's what truly causes transformation. It's a figurative drip, 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 showing up every single day, gaining in strength, organizing, oh, that it's supposed to be long haul, building connection. This subtle but difficult work is how culture changes. See, if we want the end to become what we're looking for, we have to remember that what we do every single day gets us there. Not what we do once a month, not what we do once a year, not what we do every 6 months. It's literally every single day's actions is how we get one step closer. It's not the monumental. And then, of course, our communication to our teams, our communication of our brand, our communication of who are we and what are we looking to accomplish. Sometimes, I'm sorry, Mike, I'm calling you out on this one because you're the greatest example and you're coming up next. Sometimes we're afraid to say what our goals are out loud because we're afraid that, ooh, if I go out and I say that I want to be the number one, I want to accomplish this, I want to do this production, I want to build this kind of company, sometimes we're afraid to put that out there because we say, well, if I fail, people will say, wow, you didn't hit that goal. Well, what are you afraid of? If you're not putting it out there for all to hear, you're already admitting you failed. So tell everyone your goal, your team, your family, your network, your tribe. Tell them what you're looking to accomplish because it's actually very interesting too. If you tell your tribe what you're looking to accomplish, your tribe will actually help you get there. So don't be afraid to share it. And then, of course, as you're making your progress, you have to measure it. You measure the long haul and you measure the little incremental successes. Because if you're not measuring along the way, how do you know if you're actually making the progress that you put out there? And remember, in the beginning, I said be flexible. Okay, maybe you didn't hit what you thought you would in 30 days. Recalibrate, reassess it, figure out why you didn't. It's okay. That doesn't mean scrap the idea and start again. It means analyze why not. Make the proper adjustments. Don't make the goal less. Don't say, my goals were too big. I'm going to cut them. It's never going to happen. No, absolutely not. Keep your goals big. Just recalibrate and allow yourself to lean into them. And then, most important part, and the part that as type A personality people that want to always succeed and always want to be the best at whatever we do, this is something that a lot of us have a problem doing. When we put our flag at the winner's circle of that goal that we're looking to accomplish, that flag might look really far away. And sometimes we're like, it's so long. Celebrate those wins as you're doing them. Take a moment, celebrate them with your team because it absolutely gets you closer to your goal. So on that note, I know I need to wrap up, but 80% of people do not reach their goals because they give up. So my question is, I know if you're on this call today, that's the 20% that will, because all of you said yes to dedicating the time and energy to focus on yourself and your teams to reach those lofty goals. And I know you will do that. So wishing everyone a happy holiday season and may 2021 be your best ever.
My God, everyone, so many positive comments. I know you couldn't see while you were talking. I love this presentation. I hope to see you give it again. I can see this. This is on point. Somebody just asked, What's 0.7 and 8 word? Can you go back to slides? Those slides, reverse slides. And so here's your chance. If you just
There you
ask
go.
there it is. 7 and 8. So it looks like going backwards 10, 9. So 7
Oh,
is
wait.
small.
Actually, wait.
Oh.
I think, I'm sorry. I didn't make
Yeah.
the PowerPoint, so I apologize.
All
So let
right.
me look at my notes. Seven is small, consistent actions. So that's
Okay.
your drip, drip, drip. And
Yep.
8 is communication, putting it out there.
Awesome. Okay. Hope that helped. Well, you had incredible comments on here. We're just a few minutes over. We're really doing good. As conventions go, and Laura will tell you, there can be way out of whack things happening at the Vision Summit last year. We went an hour over in the morning. I mean, things happen, right? So this was awesome content, Laura. Thank you so much. I know how valuable your time is. We really appreciate you. Hang out if you want. I know you probably have a company you got to go run, so you might have to jolt. We really, really appreciate you.
Thank you, everyone. You guys are awesome. And just want you to know, just as I started, thank you so much for saying yes to investing in yourself. It is the greatest investment you can make. And I know all of you are going to crush it. Thank you, Christine.
Thanks, Laura, so much.
Bye.
So awesome, guys, right? Well, hang